I suggest we go ahead. She's calling in. I think we should.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to call to order the April 1st New Jersey Water Supply Authority meeting. Ms. Hunt, could you read the Open Public Meeting Act?
Yes. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting has been published in designated newspapers, including the time, date, and location of the meeting. Notice and the agenda of this meeting, as well as Microsoft Teams and call-in information, have also been provided on the authority's website and are posted in a prominent location in the authority's headquarters.
Thank you. We'll go on to roll call. Mr. Brooks, could you do roll call?
Sure. Acting Chair Domber,
Here.
Commissioner Blue. Don't think she's on yet. But, Commissioner Havens.
Here.
Commissioner Iaculo.
Here.
Commissioner Pico.
Here.
We have 4. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. All right, at this time, we'll review and approve the minutes for the March 4th, 2024 meeting. Do I have a motion? Wait, are there any comments? Excuse me.
No, I'll move it.
We have a first, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll do a vote. Mr. Brooks?
Acting Chair Domber,
Yes.
Commissioner Blue, did I hear you?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Havens,
Yes.
Commissioner Iaculo,
Yes.
Commissioner Pico.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. We'll move on to agenda item number 5, Executive Director's Report. Mr. Brooks, could you present the report?
Yes, you all have my report. In Clinton, March precipitation was 7.01 inches, more than 3.3 inches above average. Pumping to Round Valley initiated in mid-November. As of yesterday, a total of 10.9 billion gallons had been pumped to Round Valley, and the pool has increased by almost 19 feet, which is 6 feet below full pool. Total increase in storage at Round Valley has gone from 36 billion to 50.5 billion gallons. That includes the rainfall as well, in addition to what we pumped. And 55 billion gallons is full capacity. Part of our pumping success has been the fact that when necessary, we've been releasing from Spruce Run to maintain pumping efficiencies to Round Valley. The Spruce Run reservoir storage remains at 100.8% as of this morning. As of yesterday, combined storage for Round Valley and Spruce Run was 93.5% of capacity compared to a combined historic average of, oh, I've got an incorrect number here. I'm not sure what it is, but today is, I think it's 92%. Today is the first day that I could say that our actual storage is above the historic average for the first time. The Madison Pond reservoir storage level as of this morning was 97.1% capacity. About a month ago, the DEP announced the publication of its draft of the 2024 New Jersey statewide water supply plan. Public meetings were scheduled for March 15th, and there's another one on April 9th. The 60-day public comment period ends on April 26th. Members of authority staff were briefed on the plan in March. I would also like to introduce Steve Gates, our new chief engineer. He replaces Darren Schaefer, who retired on Thursday. Any questions?
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to agenda item number 6, communications and correspondence. Mr. Brooks, do we have any communications or correspondence?
There are none.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 7, unfinished business. Mr. Brooks, will you walk us through the unfinished business agenda items?
Yes, the Mass One reservoir system and water treatment plant. Paul McKeon will provide an update.
Yeah, good afternoon. I think Mark just said the reservoir was 97%, but it's actually like 99% and spilling over a little bit, but that's okay. It's full and more rain is on the way. I don't really have anything else to report that wasn't in my written report. We're doing general maintenance. One item, we're changing out the granular activated carbon in a couple vessels at the treatment plant and having a little bit of trouble removing some iron material built up inside the cone of one of the vessels. So that's delaying the return of the carbon, but we're working with a contractor to remove that material so we can get a good inspection of the vessel. Other than that, everything is normal at the treatment plant as well.
All right, thank you. The Raritan system?
Steve Gates will provide that report.
As Mark said, my name is Steve Gates. I'm the new Chief Engineer at the Water Supply Authority. You'll have a copy of my report, so I'll just proceed with the following updates. The Raritan Basin continues to be in good condition at this time of year. Spruce Run Reservoir is full at spillway elevation, and we are continuing releases to support the Round Valley filling operation. Since the filling operations commenced in November of 23, Round Valley's risen more than 19 feet above construction pool and currently sits at elevation 379, which is roughly 6 feet below full pool. Recent projections show full pool or near full pool being achieved sometime in early May, as we do expect to stop filling approximately a foot below full pool in order to reserve some space for rain events that might occur before our release season. The Round Valley design engineer continues to monitor the performance of the embankments and the new filter drain systems as the reservoir fills, and no concerns have been identified. Canal operations are normal for this time of year, with staff performing routine maintenance on minor erosion and weather-related debris cleanup. We have an update on the emergency repairs to the sinkhole developed in the canal embankment near Workhouse Spillway in Hopewell Township, Mercer County. The contractor has completed installation of the sheet pile cutoff, restored the disturbed areas, removed the temporary bridge over the canal, and demobilized to reopen the multi-use trail and the fireman's access bridge. Authority staff will continue to periodically monitor the river side slope or seepage as river levels continue to drop after recent rain events. We will also be receiving some additional recommendations from the consulting engineer for long-term seepage control once we've had an opportunity to observe the situation when river low flow conditions return. We have the following updates to several ongoing capital projects. Round Valley project, contractor has returned from winter shutdown on March 11th, continues to address outstanding work items, including instrumentation, reestablishing vegetation, and site restoration. Final completion is still anticipated this summer, 2024. The South Branch pump station rehabilitation and equipment upgrades. Contractors continuing with the repair and refurbishment of the 4 pump and motor assemblies that are at their shop. And concurrently, we have progressed to the second phase of rehabilitation, which consists of a construction project to replace the existing traveling water screens, which are original to the station and at the end of their service life. A resolution seeking approval to enter a construction contract with the low bidder has been prepared and will be discussed later during the meetings. Spruce Run Dam Foundation grouting. We're continuing to work through permitting and New Jersey IP financing application processes. And we hope to have approval to advertise starting in April in anticipation of advertising for construction bids in May. Small culvert. After completing the rehabilitation of Culver Barrel, we are waiting for water levels within 6 Mile Run to proceed for the contractor to be able to complete final repairs of the stone masonry head wall on the downstream towpath side of the culvert. Permit conditions on this project have in-water work restrictions within the 6 Mile Run from May 1st through June 30th. So we don't anticipate resuming that work until July 1st of this year. And finally, DNR Canal Western Bank Improvements Phase 1 in Stockton. The contractor's most recent look-ahead schedule shows them completing the regrading, reseeding, and erosion control this week. They will then continue to level and resurface the last portion of the embankment the following week, leaving only removal of the laydown area and excavation spoils and demobilization after that. So we are anticipating project completion in April. These are all the updates that I have today. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions? If not, welcome and thank you, Mr. Gates. We'll go on to watershed management.
Ken Cliffside?
Afternoon, everybody. You have my report. I wanted to highlight 3 projects. The first one, the Spruce Run Mohawkaway Watershed Restoration and Protection Plan, which we're doing under a grant from DEP. And we're working closely with Rutgers Cooperative Extension Water Resources Program under a contract with us. And we're getting ready to release a draft copy of the Spruce Run Mohawkaway plan to the shareholders, stockholders for comment in the spring, which will be then followed by stakeholder meeting and then meetings with municipalities. So we're making progress. This is, these restoration plans take quite a while to compile. And we did recently ask for a 6-month extension from DEP to complete the plan. But we are making good progress there. So I just wanted to highlight that since we'll be going out for public input on that one soon. Second is PFAS assessments, and to complement the coordinated PFAS grab sampling effort on the canal by DEP and the water purveyors. Authority staff is partnering with the Delaware River Basin Commission staff to deploy 16 passive PFAS samplers along the canal's length. And these samplers will remain in place for a month. They were deployed last week. They'll be in place for a month, and then they'll be analyzed for 40 PFAS compounds. Be interesting to see the results we get on that. I just wanted to highlight that one. And then lastly, an update on the aeration system. We're making good progress in March to get a design prepared to improve water quality in the Manasquan Reservoir. There was a meeting in March with watershed engineering staff, Manasquan staff, and the oxygenation system design consultant, Beta Environmental Associates. And last week they delivered the draft phase 1 schematic design report for our review. So we recently received that and we'll be commenting on that. But we are making progress. Those are my highlights. Happy to answer questions.
You have any questions? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to agenda item number 8, new business, of which we have several resolutions. I'll introduce the first one. Resolution authorizing the issuance of not exceeding $50 million subordinate bonds, Delaware and Raritan System, Spruce Run Reservoir Structures Refurbishment and Resource Preservation Project of the New Jersey Water Supply Authority, and providing for their sale to the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank and the state of New Jersey, and authorizing the execution and delivery of certain agreements in connection therewith. Mr. Brooks?
Yes, we have Robert Bindfield on the line, and he is our bond counsel who's been working with Susan Buckley to provide the background information here. Mr. Bindfield?
Thank you, Director. I appreciate it. And Authority, it's good to be with you. I was thinking to myself, I'm here, but you have one of the best locations in the state for meetings, and it's one of the prettiest locations I've seen. So this resolution, a very long title there, would authorize debt for the Spruce Run project. It's very similar to what the Authority has done in the past. We just got finished doing Round Valley and dredging projects, so this resolution is similar to that. It's the state iBank program. Just a couple technical matters. These are subordinate bonds. You don't have any other senior bonds at the moment on your Delaware and Raritan system, but we do a simpler a subordinate resolution to the state program because they will accept it. We don't have trustees, we don't have reserves, things you would see with public bonds, but we've preserved your ability to issue public bonds in the future above these bonds if you have to, which you would need to do if you went to the public. We have the pre-approvals as we need to adopt any bond resolution from the governor and from the state treasurer. And, you know, pretty simply, it authorizes debt for the project up to 35 or 40 years is the most you can do. The program used to do 20-year bonds. It then went to 30-year bonds. And then if there is some WIFIA money involved, the state has recently replenished its lending coffers with significant federal funds. The maturity can go longer. So this resolution would authorize your officials, the director, to do what is necessary to close these loans with the state as it is, and sign a couple agreements. They have fairly standard loan agreements. You can ask any questions. At the moment, you don't go to a permanent financing until the project is complete. So it took us, 5-6 years until we permanently financed Round Valley in December. We'll have a short-term loan during the construction period. It's like a line of credit. You draw down on it as you need it, and you pay interest as you draw, not on the full amount, all a good deal. And if your project comes in under or it's partly funded by grants, you don't have to draw down all the money. The current short-term rate is still fantastic. It's monthly it changes. Last month, actually, I don't know March yet, but February was 0.4%. Towns these days, as a comparison, are getting 3.5% if they borrow on a short-term loan for a band for a year. So, with that, I'll leave. I'll throw it back, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion and a second.
So moved.
You have a second? Second. Okay, Mr. Brooks, can you do a vote?
Acting Chair Domber,
Yes.
Commissioner Blue,
Yes.
Commissioner Havens,
Yes.
Commissioner Iaculo,
Yes.
Commissioner Pico. You're muted. Thumbs up.
Yeah, sorry. It's throwing a new format on my system and it keeps crashing. So I apologize for the blipping in and out.
All right, so motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Moving on to the second resolution, Resolution B, a resolution authorizing the award of a construction contract for the replacement of traveling water screens at the South Branch Pumping Station, Clinton Township, Hunterdon County, New Jersey, WSA-B24018. Mr. Brooks?
Steve Gates will provide the background.
Yes, this resolution is for a construction contract to replace the traveling water screens at the South Branch Pumping Station. Contractor will be tasked to furnish and install additional stop logs for water control, remove accumulated sediment from the forebays, remove existing traveling water screens, and furnish and install 4 new traveling water screens. We advertised and on March 15th received bids from 5 construction firms. Bids were responsive and competitive, falling within a relatively narrow range and all below the consulting engineer's construction cost estimate, which was $2.4 million. Bids ranged on the low end from $1.129 million to the upper end of $1.58 million, with the low bid coming from Allied Construction Group Incorporated. Authority staff reviewed all the bids and recommend the award of a construction contract to Allied Construction Group, Inc. of Park Lane, New Jersey, for a lump sum and unit price cost not to exceed $1.129 million. An appropriate resolution is included for your consideration, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second,
Thank you. Okay, we'll go for a vote. Mr. Brooks?
Acting Chair Domber,
Yes.
Commissioner Blue,
yes.
Commissioner Havens,
Yes.
Commissioner Iaculo,
Yes.
Commissioner Pico.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries. And then the third resolution, a resolution authorizing negotiation and execution of a contract to pursue a fee simple interest in a 9+ acre critical watershed parcel in Clinton Township, Hunterdon County. Mr. Brooks?
Yeah, first, we do have a staff member that needs to recuse himself.
I'm recusing on this one because I'm on the board of one of the nonprofit partners working on the acquisition.
So Mr. Klipstein has left the room. Julie is going to provide the background.
Good afternoon. Today we're here to talk about land preservation for the first time in quite a while. This is our first foray back into the source water protection land acquisition realm since 2013. We're using the board-approved methodology for evaluating the property as has been past practice, same methodology, and this property was brought to us by one of our nonprofit partners. The property ranks very highly on all of our marks for use of the Source Water Protection Fund. The property was presented to the Watershed Lands Committee for their review, and they did vote to recommend for our pursuit of this property. So the resolution today authorizes our executive director to enter into contract negotiations for a fee simple acquisition of this property. The negotiation is confidential, so I'm not giving out a lot of information on the details of the individual property. However, Appendix 1 was provided by Mark earlier this morning, which has some of the details of the property on it for the board members, as well as our representative from the governor's office and our deputy attorney general. As I mentioned, we're working with other partners, and we will be undertaking due diligence on the property to evaluate it for its fitness for acquisition. When we get through that process and potentially putting all the money together from the multiple partners involved, we would come back to the board for another resolution that would authorize us to go to contract closing on the property. And we anticipate this would move relatively quickly due to some external pressures. So an appropriate resolution is before you, and I have, if you have any questions, I'm here for you.
Have any questions? All right, hearing none, I'll call for a motion in a second.
So moved.
We have a second. Second, we have a motion to second. Okay. Mr. Brooks, can you do a vote?
Acting Chair Domber,
Yes.
Commissioner Blue,
Yes.
Commissioner Havens,
Yes.
Commissioner Iaculo,
Yes.
Commissioner Pico.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Motion carries. That completes agenda item number 8. We'll move on to number 9, authority committee reports. Mr. Brooks, do you have any reports for us today?
Just Julie mentioned, we did meet with the Watershed Lands Acquisition Committee to discuss the last resolution. I don't have the date. It was 2 weeks ago today.
Okay, thank you.
March 18th. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 10, public comment. Do we have any members of the public who wish to make a comment? And if you do, state your name and affiliation for the record. I'm not seeing any, Mark, but if you want to confirm on your end.
I don't see any hands or.
Okay. All right, thank you. And then we'll move on to agenda item number 11, executive session. Is there a need for an executive session today?
No need.
Okay, okay. Moving on to agenda, agenda item number 12, adjournment. Do we have a motion and a second to adjourn?
Yes, we do. So
All
moved.
right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate your time and your effort. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Aye.
Bye-bye, guys.